You wake up and the world is already waiting with its usual parade of small insults. The petty slight, the clumsy error, the selfish demand dressed as urgency. Marcus Aurelius begins the day with an instruction you can feel in your bones if you let it sink past your surface reactions. Prepare yourself to meet the ignorant, the arrogant, and the self-absorbed without losing your calm. Do not pretend these people are rare. Do not pretend you are never one of them. Simply know they will appear, and decide in advance who you will be when they do. When you wake up in the morning, Marcus writes, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He does not add, therefore hate them. He adds, they are like this because they do not know good from evil. So bring your composure, bring your craft, bring your standards. You will not fix every man you meet, but you can refuse to let their unfinished work become the author of your day. You do not have enough time to argue about what a good person is. Seneca used a blade on the problem. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. A list of virtues on your wall will not rescue anyone, least of all you. Virtue is not a speech. It is a sentence of action. You know how to tell the truth in the moment when lying would be easy. You know how to keep your word when fatigue would love an excuse. You know how to admit error when your pride is loud. You know how to refuse cruelty when mockery would earn applause. Put your feet where your mouth would like to be, and the debate dissolves. You want to be seen as good. That is the ego playing for an audience. You want to be good. That is the soul doing its job. If something is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The sentence from Marcus is so clean, your cleverness tries to escape it. There is no footnote that makes an exception for a smart lie that helps your branding. There is no secret clause that blesses a dirty tactic because the rival is worse. If it is not right, do not do it. That single bar would simplify your calendar, your inbox, your reputation, your sleep. If it is not true, do not say it. You do not need to decorate your honesty. You do not need to perform your conscience. Speak simply, and fewer repairs will be required tomorrow. You always have the option of no opinion. The culture teaches you to react to every headline, every rumor, every provocation, tossed like bait across your screen. Marcus drags you back to sanity. You can refrain. You can hold your voice until you have facts. You can let two strangers fight without editing the war. You can say, I don't know. You can refuse to rent your nervous system to a market that monetizes agitation. Pascal's cold line sharpens the lesson. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. You are not required to donate your attention to every theater. No opinion is not ignorance. It is discipline. It is a space where thought can form before noise colonizes your day. Stop letting your mind wander into what others think of you. That road is infinite and paved with distortions. The surveillance of your reputation does not improve your reputation. It erodes your judgment. If 10 people praise you and 1 man frowns, your mind will volunteer for slavery to the frown and call it diligence. The frown is a rumor about a rumor. Seneca again. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Leave the surveillance tower. Return to your post. Do your work. Guard your character, not your reflection. You do not owe the crowd your pulse. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus gives you no metaphor gentler than this. Every thought you practice leaves a stain or a shine. Your inner talk is not just talk. It is pigment. If you bathe in resentment, you will walk out stained by resentment, and swear the world is dark when you are the one carrying the die. If you bathe in gratitude, you will walk out with eyes open to ordinary goodness and swear the world has changed when it is your lens that is cleared. The life of man is what his thoughts make of it, wrote Marcus again. You cannot always change the event. You can always choose the palette. Nothing happens to you that you are not fitted to endure. You hear this as insult when you want permission to collapse. Hear it as confidence instead. Built into you is a reserve you have not met because comfort interrupts the meeting. Marcus is not minimizing pain. He is reminding you of proportion. If it came to your door, it came to a door with hinges strong enough to hold. Epictetus sharpened the point. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. The view you take either reassigns you to the spectator stands or hands you your tools. Endurance is not passivity. It is the agreement to remain present without theatrical complaint, to keep your hands moving, even when your heart is learning a slower strength. Treat success and failure the same. They are equally temporary. You burn candles for victory and build altars to humiliation. Both become idols that drain your days. Marcus takes the idol from your pocket and snaps it in half. The win fades, the loss fades. The question that matters is whether the win softened your virtue or made it steadier, whether the loss shattered your vanity or sharpened your patience. Everything is only for a day, he writes. Honors, insults, doors opening, doors closing, days. Put your weight on what does not melt. Effort governed by reason, speech governed by truth, love governed by justice. Let fortune spin her wheel. You do not need to hang on to the rim and call that living. Do not explain your philosophy. Embody it. There is dignity in refusing the stage. The more you describe your principles, the more you will be tempted to perform them for applause, instead of practice them for their own sake. Francis Bacon's practical sentence returns you to work. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. Philosophy without embodiment is a museum. Embodiment makes a workshop. Arguments about virtue do not feed the hungry. Your task is to do the next decent thing without writing a poem about yourself doing it. Work without complaining, and accept without resisting. Complaining is payment you make with interest on a debt you already owe to reality. Resistance is wasted motion when the law you are fighting is not man-made, but the grammar of the world. Work is the only sound answer to difficulty that does not borrow more difficulty from tomorrow. When something has arrived that you did not order, you may gnash your teeth, or you may accept and act. Bear in mind that everything is opinion, Marcus says, and complaint is an opinion that keeps your hands idle. Turn the opinion into motion. When acceptance is required, it is not capitulation. It is the removal of theatrical noise so that you can hear what needs doing. Do every task as if it were your last. This is not a license for frenzy. It is an invitation to seriousness. If this were the final email you write, would you add snide subtext? If this were the last conversation with your friend, would you hoard your kindness? If this were the last time you pick up the tool, would you put it down half clean? The thought is not morbid. It assigns weight to the hour you are inclined to treat as disposable. Seneca cut closer. Life is long if you know how to use it. Use this task, not the imaginary future one that flatters your ego with fantasies of greatness. This one, the small one, the one that reveals your training or your costume. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. When Marcus writes this, he is not inventing metaphysics. He is describing engineering. The stone is not a message from heaven. The stone is material. Push it aside and you build strength. Break it and you practice precision. Climb it and you train balance. Go around it and you learn patience. What stands in the way becomes the way. The line is not a friendliness toward suffering. It is a refusal to romanticize ease. Stop writing poems about the rock and begin turning the rock into a step. Stop endorsing your delay with tragic adjectives and begin moving through the difficulty as if it were the work, because it is. Never act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. This is the sentence that burns your procrastination to ash. You do not have a contract for later. You have air now. The plan that treats tomorrow as a guarantee rather than a gift is always cruel to your present. Marcus snaps your calendar in two. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. The line does not ask you to sprint aimlessly. It asks you to cut the petty, refuse the performance of outrage, refuse the scroll into numbness, refuse to spend the prime of your attention on what you cannot change. Begin. And if beginning frightens you, be frightened while you begin. External things are not the problem. It is your attachment to them. The car is not cruelty. Your need to be seen in a certain car is. The promotion is not poison. Your belief that you disappear without it is. The house is not a sin. Your worship of how the house signals your worth is. Marcus returns you to the lever you can actually pull, the judgment that glues you to a thing. Very little is needed to make a happy life, he writes. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. You do not need to become an ascetic to be free. You need to hold everything you do not control with an open hand. Grip hard where responsibility lives. Hold light where fortune plays. Keep your attention on the present moment. It is all you truly own. The rest is credit and debt, memories that you polish into lies, and futures that you decorate into avoidance. Confine yourself to the present, Marcus commands, and it feels like a prison until you try it and discover it is an escape. When attention is here, you actually do the work. When attention is here, the person in front of you is not a prop in a play about your past and your imagined future. When attention is here, fear loses its infinite corridor and has to fight on the ground, where it is smaller than it sounded in the hall. Anger is a punishment you give yourself for another's mistake. The insult lands, and you lift the whip and strike yourself with it for the rest of the afternoon. The driver cuts you off, and you volunteer to host him in your head for hours, reheating the scene until your blood chemistry is wrecked and your judgment is dull. Marcus does not deny that people err. He denies their right to own you after the error. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Let the man who lied about you live with his lie. Your task is to protect your instrument, your mind, from corrosion. Anger is expensive, and its purchases are cheap. Be strict with yourself and tolerant of others. You invert this every day because it is easier to police strangers than to govern your own appetites. You publish rules you do not keep and punish errors you commit in private. Marcus shifts the order. Begin with your own shop. Audit your speech. Audit your calendar. Audit your promises. Audit your laziness and your workaholism, both of which can be forms of vanity. Then, when you turn to other men, carry the memory of your own unfinished work as a shield against cruelty. Nietzsche's harsh gift matters here. He who despises himself still respects himself as one who despises. The self-scourge is a false nobility. Replace it with discipline that makes you reliable and patience that makes you bearable. What does not harm your character cannot harm your life. Your money can burn. Your name can be slandered. Your work can be taken. Your plan can be delayed. If your character remains intact, and none of these injuries can dictate who you are. If your character collapses, none of the compensations you grasp will return your life to you. It is not death that a man should fear, Marcus writes, but he should fear never beginning to live. To live is to choose your stance regardless of weather. To live is to value your integrity more than the props that decorate the stage. To live is to be willing to walk away from what would require you to be less than you are capable of being. Simplicity is a form of strength. The complicated man is proud of the rituals he needs to function. The simple man functions. Simplicity does not mean poverty. It means clarity. Choose tools that work. Choose habits that travel. Choose food that feeds, clothes that serve, words that fit. Bacon's line returns like a compass. Nature is commanded by obeying her. Obey the simple limits of your body. Sleep enough to think. Move enough to carry your day. Own little enough that you can take care of what you own. Remove from your house what steals your attention without returning value. The strong life is light enough to lift. Now pull these sentences together into days. Begin each morning with the rehearsal of what kind of men you will meet and what posture you will choose. Remind yourself that no opinion is a power, that your calm is more valuable than your immediate accuracy, that other people's eyes on you are not your jurisdiction. Inspect your inner dye. Change the palette before it fixes into a color you cannot wash away. Remember that what arrives is fitted to your endurance, and that endurance grows by being used, not by being admired. When a win or a loss appears, pass it through you like weather. Keep your hand on the wheel. Hold your tongue until truth forms. Then speak without adornment. Turn to your work without the mortgage of complaint. Accept what does not answer to you, and focus hard on what does. Pick up the small task and grant it the seriousness of a last act. When the rock appears, do not build an opera about its cruelty. Build a step. Refuse to act as if years were infinite. Choose one good thing and do it under the gaze of mortality. Loosen your attachment to externals so you can hold them properly. Return your attention to now so you stop funding phantoms. Let anger evaporate into discipline before it hardens into a habit that owns your face. Be precise with your own standards, generous with other men's attempts, and do not pretend that switching the order is nobility. Guard your character as the only country that cannot be invaded without your consent. Reduce your life to the essentials, and you will find that your strength was multiplied, not diminished, by subtraction. You will be tempted to make a lecture out of this, to collect maxims as if they were coins. Marcus did not write the Meditations to be admired. He wrote them because he was tired and human, and responsible for thousands of lives, and needed a posture that would hold when crowns and grudges and epidemics pressed on him. The impediment to action advances action. Put the sentence into your next hour. The email you fear is the exercise that will make you braver. The apology you owe is the stone that, once moved, reveals a road. The habit you avoid is the discipline that will forge your days into a chain that can pull heavier loads than your mood ever could. You will be tempted to wait for motivation. That is the child asking for the weather to smile. The man begin small. The smallest reliable habit, done without complaint, turns the tide of your identity faster than a weekend of theatrics. 5 minutes of reading that dyes the soul. 5 minutes of writing that clarifies judgment. 5 minutes of walking that returns you to a human body. 5 breaths before you answer that remove the poison from your tongue. You do not need to perform greatness. You need to repeat decency until it is heavier than your excuses. You will be tempted to measure your worth by other people's noise. The crowd does not know your ledger. Praise is pleasant. It is also a sugar that leaves you weak. Blame stings. It is also a spice that can wake you if you use it correctly and discard the poison. Build a private scoreboard that does not tremble when the public board flickers. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself, Marcus insisted. And the strictness he means is not cruelty. It is care. Care enough to hold yourself to the plan you chose when you were calm. Care enough to stop outsourcing your energy to people who do not pay the bill of your life. Care enough to stop describing yourself and get back to building yourself. You will be tempted to think of Stoicism as cold. It is the exact opposite. It is the warmth of a man who does not waste his fire on theater and therefore has fire to spare for real work and real love. It is not the refusal to feel. It is the refusal to be governed by feelings that are lying. It is not retreat from life. It is a method for living in the open air without a costume. You do not need to adopt ancient clothes to wear ancient strength. You need to practice it where you stand. What remains when the slogans are quiet and the room is empty is a simple craft. Begin the day with clarity. Choose no opinion when ignorance is honest. Keep your mind within the fence of what is yours. Dye your soul with thoughts that make you useful. Treat what arrives as matched to your training and use it as training. Let wins and losses pass like weather, while you keep the true task in view. Do the task you have as if this were your last hour. Turn the obstacle into a step by refusing the opera. Live like a man who could die this afternoon, and therefore has no time to waste on pettiness. Hold things lightly, so you can hold duties tightly. Stay here, in the present, where your hands can actually touch the world. Refuse the expensive habit of anger. Demand more of yourself than you demand of strangers. Guard your character, like a treasure no thief can reach. Simplify until your strength is concentrated rather than scattered. If you want lines to carry into the day, take them from men who earned them in weather. Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Seneca. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Epictetus. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Pascal. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room, alone. Nietzsche. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Bacon. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. Montaigne. My life has been full of terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened. These are not ornaments, they are tools. And when the night comes, and the house is finally silent, do the inventory Marcus did without drama and without self-hatred. Where did I let ignorance provoke me into ignorance? Where did I choose no opinion and buy myself an hour of calm? Where did I speak truth plainly? Where did I hold my judgment until facts arrived? Where did I sense my mind wandering into other people's eyes and bring it home? Where did I let a thought dye me dark, and how can I choose a lighter dye tomorrow? What arrived that I was fitted to endure, and did I endure it as a man or as an actor? Where did I treat success and failure as the weather? Where did I embody my philosophy instead of describing it? Where did I work without complaint and accept without resistance what was not mine to change? Where did I do the task like it mattered, because it did? Where did I turn the obstacle into the path? Where did I live like a mortal rather than a fantasist? Where did I loosen my grip on externals? Where did I keep attention here? Where did I let anger own me? And where did I choose composure? Where was I strict with myself and tolerant with others? Where did I guard my character? Where was I simple when complexity beckoned with glitter? Then sleep. Tomorrow will bring the same parade of chances to be a man or a puppet. Prepare again. You are not building a brand. You are building a spine. The day does not care about your speeches. It will answer to your acts. You do not need anyone's permission to begin. Begin.